Nora, an engineer at an underwater research facility, notices a spider while brushing her teeth. Using tissue paper, she carefully relocates it to safety. After finishing her routine, she sits down to put on her shoes, only to hear the unsettling sound of leaking water. She traces the noise to its source just as the walls of the facility burst open, sending a torrent of water rushing inside. Alarmed, Nora runs through the halls, shouting to warn the others. Rodrigo catches up to her, and they both sprint toward a safer area. Reaching a bulkhead door, they try to seal it, but Nora's keypad is malfunctioning. Determined, she hacks into the system. As the door begins to close, they see other survivors rushing toward them. Rodrigo yells for Nora to shut the door, realizing the others won't make it in time. Reluctantly, Nora seals the door just as a shockwave from the flooding knocks them both unconscious. When Nora regains consciousness, she rouses Rodrigo, and together they try contacting headquarters, but their efforts are in vain. Left with no other choice, they head toward the pod bays to evacuate. On the way, they pass through the server room to pinpoint the location of the remaining pods. While navigating the facility, they find Paul pinned under debris and help free him. They crawl through a narrow tunnel, passing the lifeless body of a colleague buried under rubble. When they finally reach the pod bay, their hopes are dashed. Every escape pod is gone. Yet, they find the captain sitting alone, having stayed behind. Nora demands to know why he didn't evacuate. Calmly, the captain explains that as captain, it's his duty to stay with the ship. The captain tends to Nora's wounds as she struggles to keep her composure, but his reassuring demeanor brings her back from panic. They regroup and head to the control room, where they locate Emily and Smith among other survivors. After heartfelt embraces, they assess the situation. Nora reports that the engine core is overheating and becoming unstable, prompting Emily to panic, which leads to a heated argument. To escape the deteriorating facility, the captain proposes walking across the ocean floor to the nearby Roebuck station in pressurized suits. Nora objects to the dangerous distance, but they have no other option. As they prepare to leave, they receive a radio transmission from a lost station, reinforcing their need to move forward. They suit up, but Rodrigo's helmet begins to crack, revealing his defective gear. As the airlock opens, the immense pressure causes Rodrigo's helmet to implode, killing him instantly. The group reels in horror, especially Emily, who sobs uncontrollably. The captain comforts Nora, urging her to stay focused. In the elevator, Emily admits she has never seen anyone die before, to which Smith grimly replies that he's seen people die, but never implode. While descending, they receive a distress signal from an evacuated pod. The captain sends Paul and Smith to investigate, despite the danger. Upon arrival, they find the pod covered in a slimy substance. Emily guesses it might be algae, but they soon discover a strange creature feeding on a corpse inside. The creature attacks, but Paul and Smith manage to kill it and bring it back for examination. Emily studies the creature, theorizing it could be an undiscovered species. Suddenly, the station's power goes out, plunging them into darkness. The captain instructs Nora to switch to manual gears as they continue across the ocean floor. Above them, the Kepler station explodes, raining debris. In the chaos, Smith's oxygen tank is damaged, forcing him to scramble for safety. He barely survives after removing his helmet in time. They decide to take a cart through a tunnel to the next station, but the path is blocked by debris. Nora, being the smallest, volunteers to swim through a narrow underwater passage to scout the way forward. One by one, the others follow her through the passage. As Paul and Smith prepare to go, Paul spots another creature in the water. Paul insists they cross together, but he is pulled underwater mid-crossing. Before being dragged away, Paul hands Nora his teddy bear and requests his helmet. Nora manages to fit the helmet on him, but the creature violently rips Paul from his suit, leaving it filled with blood. The group, traumatized, retreats to a bulkhead in silence. Emily blames their predicament on their reckless drilling. The captain notices a crack forming in the bulkhead window and orders them to keep moving. They venture back onto the ocean floor but encounter another creature racing past them. Turning off their lights, they try to stay still, but the creature drags Smith into a narrow cave. The captain hooks a line to Nora and crawls into the cave to rescue Smith. He finds him alive, but loses his gun in the process. When he tries to retrieve it, the creature grabs both the captain and Nora, dropping them on a precarious platform. As the captain dangles from the edge, the creature attempts to swallow Nora whole. She fights it off with her knife, but the struggle sends them plummeting into the ocean depths. Realizing the crushing pressure will kill them both, the captain releases himself from Nora's grip. She watches in horror as he implodes. Nora briefly loses consciousness, but wakes to find her suit malfunctioning. Startled by an octopus, she stumbles upon the abandoned shepherd station. After grieving for the captain, she changes into dry clothes and searches the station. In the captain's locker, she discovers a photo of his daughter and learns she had passed away, explaining his earlier outburst. Determined to survive, Nora dons a new suit and grabs a flare gun, setting off toward Roebuck Station. Along the way, she hears Emily's voice and finds her with Liam. Emily initially mistakes Nora for a creature, but Nora calms her, expressing admiration for her resilience. They resume their journey, dragging Liam along to keep him moving. As they talk, Nora shares that her fiancé, who was Liam's best friend, disappeared during a solo dive. Eventually, they reach Roebuck Station and find a nest of hibernating creatures. They carefully sneak through, but Emily's oxygen alarm goes off, waking one of the creatures. It grabs Emily, but Nora fights it off with her flare gun. As more creatures stir, Nora fires again, revealing an enormous adult creature, the baby's parent. Realizing the danger, they flee, but the creature's wave knocks Nora unconscious. Emily rescues her just in time, breaking Nora's jammed helmet with a fire extinguisher. They reach the control room and spot the enormous creature through the window. Nora directs the others to the pod bay, but only 2 of the 3 pods are operational. She quietly sacrifices her chance at escape, forcing Emily and Liam into the pods. As the creatures pursue the pods, Nora devises a desperate plan. She initiates a nuclear core overload, recalling Emily's earlier remark about the station's energy reserves. The resulting explosion annihilates the creatures and the station, ensuring the pod's safe escape. In the aftermath, news reports classify the incident, preventing survivors from speaking publicly. The drilling company declines government assistance, determined to rebuild and continue operations.